fourth episode begins as the Kingdom of Hawai'i has been anticipating the looming death of its aging king, Kalaniʻopuʻu, for some time now. Still, when his demise arrives, it shrouds the people in a blanket of grief and mourning. Even so, there's much work to be done, especially regarding the distribution of government responsibilities among his next of kin. The king leaves behind only one son, Keoa, who inherits the throne. Nonetheless, he suffers a personal slight when his father's posthumous wishes reveal he has left the god of war to his nephew, Kamehameha. The holder of the god of war has long been a revered honor. Therefore, Keoa feels robbed and wronged by his cousin when he's overlooked for the responsibility. In fact, he demands that due to the latter's identity as an illegitimate child, the new king orders him to surrender the god of war to him. Kamehameha's conflicted feelings about his destiny compel him to accept his cousin's ascension as the king over his own. Nonetheless, when it comes to his uncle's wishes, he remains insistent on respecting them and holding on to the god of war. Consequently, Keoa announces his intentions to wage war on his cousin and take the cherished relic from him in battle. Initially, Kamehameha remains torn up over this development. He has long been told that he is the prophesied great king who will bring unification to the four kingdoms. Therefore, his uncle's decision to pass his title to Keoa instead of himself instills feelings of doubt. He can't help but wonder if his expected destiny is fading away, diverging from his actual future. In light of these complicated matters, his advisor Moku attempts to convince him to take the fight at his cousin, if necessary. Nonetheless, it's the latter's daughter, the chief's new wife, Kahumanu, who is actually able to guide her husband toward the light. The young woman has been struggling with the intricacies of her own fate, now that she has become bound by the expectations and responsibilities of being a chief's wife, one of many. She can't help but feel trapped by her circumstances, stuck in a world where even the gods won't reach out and speak to her. For the same reason, she is able to relate to Kamehameha. Years earlier, he had moved an immovable boulder, which had confirmed his identity as the prophesied one to the people. However, he's unable to move the same rock now. However, when he's feeling abandoned by the gods, Kahumanu advises him to forge his own path forward. In the end, the chief decides to pursue a war with his brother, but only in defense. Over in the Kingdom of Oahu, Kahekili receives word of the king's passing and decides to call the war generals. He wants to conquer Hawaii and strike while the iron is hot. One of the Maui chiefs, though, isn't sure whether this is a good idea. After slaughtering the boy king and losing Kayana, he doubts the validity of this claim next to the prophecy. Kahekili lusts for blood and believes he needs to wipe out all the royal lineage until there is only one. He's interpreted the prophecy as leaving his bloodline as the dominating force. He won't be swayed from this path. Kayana's trip to Zamboanga brings new wonders for the warrior, who finds a way to bring back crates of firearms for his people. However, the port also opens his eyes to the cruelties of the world, especially the Spanish. He realizes the breadth of their brutality when he stumbles across a cage holding numerous people, men, women, and children. The horror of the scene shakes Kayana to his core. For the same reason, when a Spanish man, likely the person intending on enslaving the people, confronts him, the warrior ends up killing him on the spot. Consequently, he earns a big target on his back from the Zamboangan authorities. To make matters worse, Captain Mears is planning on departing the port the same night, with or without the Hawaiian warrior. Nonetheless, Kayana refuses to leave behind his friend, Tony, who has been missing the entire day. With Vi's help, he manages to figure out that the other sailor is likely being held in a warehouse to be sold at the slave trade. As a result, despite the unfavorable odds, he decides to take on the depraved, highly guarded area in search of his friend. Tony had been one of the only people aboard Mears's ship who had extended a hand of friendship toward the warrior. Therefore, he had inevitably become a part of Kayana's family. Thus, in the end, the warrior single-handedly infiltrates the warehouse and frees as many encaged people as possible. In the chaos that follows, he's able to rescue Tony and arrive at Mears's ship in the nick of time. Even though Kayana had managed to survive, his family still believes him to be dead, killed at the hands of King Kahekili's men. Therefore, they have been mourning his loss for the past few months. During this time, his brother Namake and his spouse Kupuohi find a unique solace in each other. They are able to find the strength to go on through each other. As a result, they inevitably grow closer and closer to one another. Although they never cross any lines, the intimacy of their relationship remains evident to any outsider. In fact, Kayana's other brother, Nahi, remains particularly frustrated at this development, since he is still holding out hope for his brother's survival. Soon enough, the attraction between Namake and Kupuohi becomes too charged to overlook. Still, the latter tries to fight her feelings. She shares her family heirloom necklace with the other man, claiming him as her guardian. In turn, Namake tries to convince her that, in light of Kayana's sacrifice, they should aspire to find their own happiness even if it is in each other. Nonetheless, she insists that she can't offer him much of anything else, since her grief over her husband's death is too fresh. However, as the night falls, it still finds Kupuohi in Namake's tent, waiting for him. It seems that despite her desire for restraint, the duo's connection is simply too precious to be ignored. As such, the two finally cross a line and end the night in each other's embrace.